We live.
Is that the news?
Okay, we're on. We're good.
Hello.
What's up?
I don't think you're in.
Because I muted it.
Okay. Sorry.
You don't want to hear yourself?
No, I just want to.
Here.
No, I don't want to hear
It's like
myself.
everybody hear it too. Yeah. Hey.
Fuck you.
Can we start now?
Yeah, we can start. So we just got a new mic today. Sounds like it's pretty good. Guys, give us a feedback. We're not super professional when it comes to podcasting. We're still new at this, so we're just like trying out some new setups without spending like a fortune. But yeah, so we're back. It's Sunday. Leave my crack alone, man. It's candy. Fuck you, man. Candy's great. Okay, that's good for the soul, my chakras or whatever you want to call it. It's good for all the 6 chakras. 7. The 8th one is candy. Anyway, so we are Sunday, August 8th. We're August 8th today.
And there's very big high energies tonight, so meditate tonight.
Meditate, guys. No, okay,
So it's a
so
meeting.
you're cruising for a cruising.
Exactly.
So it is Sunday, August 8th, and
Say it again.
we are here. No Name Podcast, episode 16 or no 17.
16.
Sure.
Yes, we were
Episode
15 last week.
16 already,
4 months
and we have Chris back on the show. I think he's going to be a reoccurring guest.
I plan on
So
it.
he plans on being here all the time. He sleeps here. He just can't sleep. He sleeps here up until Sunday. So what are we talking about today, boys?
Chris came up with a good one on Thursday, so share what you got today.
The word oppression. What does that actually mean?
Oof, this is gonna get heated.
And so it's really great because we got a lot of perspectives here on this table. You have someone who's totally against it. You have somebody who has his feelings and someone else who has his feelings. So he will represent everybody who feels that it's totally horrible and so on and so forth. So I'm very excited. Where would you like to start?
Yeah, where you want to start?
Where do I like to start?
Man, just don't rip on anyone.
I'm not ripping on anyone.
I think at the end of the day, let's talk about the fact that Logo has mentioned that he wants to do a passport.
This girl's walking outside with a mask on her phone. That's it.
And she's all lost.
Completely lost. That's
Can't
it.
walk
Wear your
anywhere
mask.
else.
Maybe if you take it off.
We went side note, but whatever.
Maybe if you take your mask off, you're able to breathe properly. You know.
And this is him shitting on people.
Anyway,
And it
sorry.
starts.
Because I'm starting to like.
Come back to Earth, please.
So I think it'd be great that TJ actually goes into all the things that upset you, and then Anthony and I will go one by one and say, okay, here are 2 sides of the story when it comes to this.
So oppression. So like when was it? Friday? Friday or Thursday? Lego had announced
I believe it was.
Thursday or Friday? Anyway, whatever the date. I think it's a couple of days now. People are.
Well, tomorrow's the official announcement. Well, what's going on? How they're going to go about it?
It's true. It's Quebec. They have to have 3 official announcements because there has to go through so much like bureaucracy and people.
It has to go through language barriers.
Yeah. It has to go like three different people that are all paid $100,000 to say that. On sait pas là. Est-ce que c'est en France? Excuse-moi, je sais pas. Fucking useless morons. And they all this to pass one bill or one law or whatever. It costs us $14.6 billion. You heard that black man? Good. Anyway, so yeah, oppression. What am I feeling right now? I feel like 1939, man. A lot of people shit on me because I posted on my Facebook saying welcome to 1939, and people were like, well, you know, you cannot compare 1939 to now.
Why not?
Exactly, why not? Okay, 1939 was pretty much the beginning of the Second World War, and if you go back to that time, if you actually read your history books, a lot of people failed secondary 4 history, so I don't even know why the fuck you guys are even commenting. Anyway, so if you actually read back and you start to understand how exactly that came about in 1939,
Hold on, let me
before
stop for a second. 1939 wasn't really in any history books.
What I mean,
Growing up I don't remember any of that.
secondary, yes, it was.
In 4?
Yeah.
I don't remember. That was like at the last
The
stage,
last
so nobody
stage.
gave a fuck.
Yeah, actually, no, Sec 4 was Canadian history. Yeah, and Sec 5, actually, secondary 5 world history was actually a lot about
They were really making themselves look bad. In Quebec, you have to pass Sec 4, and it is history class in
Yeah.
Sec 4.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I don't even remember
But in Sec 5,
1939 in
1939 is the beginning of World War II till
Yeah, that-
1945.
Yeah, but I just don't remember it in history, so that's what I'm trying to say.
What's because it was I had Mr. Panetta in world history, and we had to do massive projects for World War II.
And I had a
which was
great
actually-
teacher too. I don't know if I'm gonna say his name, but I'm gonna boost that up.
But yeah, so like I was saying, how can you compare? Well, I can very easily compare. The Jews in actually even before 1939, because 1939 was really the kickoff date of the war.
Well, you know
where-
what? Let me help you out. In 1920 was the Roaring 20s,
Yeah.
and then 10 years later, 1930, the Great Depression.
Yeah.
When the Great Depression hit, it was bad for everyone,
Yeah.
and hate was very strong. Just like hate towards people who don't want to get vaccinated. And at the end of the day, that hate turned into something way worse, which is what TJ is getting involved with. And when you want to compare, you have to just ask yourself mathematically, 1 + 1 = 2. So if you involve certain rules, it's normal that people are going to fear the outcome. Because it's like you're writing down that my budget is $350, but I have to go to a hospital, and now look, there's a negative. You're gonna be in debt. That's what it is. So we're allowed to fear because, again, if you know history, you have the right to not want it to be repeated.
Exactly.
And that's why TJ has a point on that one.
And I sometimes I talk with a lot of passion. I'm very like whatever because
It's
I
good.
get fucked up because like the thing is that we never experienced this before, so this is a new thing for all of us. We used to read the history books and we always be yawning in class. Okay, 1939. Okay, people were oppressed. Okay, Hitler invaded Poland. Okay,
Thinking it's never gonna happen to us
exactly,
ever
it's
again.
never gonna happen to us. But here we are in 2021, where our government and our Prime Minister of Quebec, Prime Minister of Canada, is literally enforcing passports, guys. Passports to live. Okay? You understand that if you do not get vaccinated, half the shit that you love to do will be taken away from you by force. That means that if there's an altercation with police and you fight back, there's possibilities that they arrest you or you be shot. So technically, if you fight back, it's gonna amount to civil war. You know, like these are the escalations that people are not understanding. But it's never gonna happen. But it's never gonna happen. But it's never gonna happen. Just like a
We
world.
say that last year was never
Yeah.
happened, but it's happened.
Exactly. But just like a worldwide pandemic, it's never gonna happen. But here we are.
Get ready, because in 2 years there's gonna be another pandemic.
Yeah, it's gonna end because guys, you have to understand something. Another valid point is that this is the perfect opportunity for government to start taking your shit when they want it, without any repercussions, because all they do is it's an emergency act. Sorry, but in this emergency statement, it is whatever means of whatever. Well, we can take your candies away without really asking you. So, like, sorry, buddy. Sorry, buddy.
Now, he just brought up a lot of points. Let's try to remember them. Do we have any questions by any chance?
I just went on ranting.
No, let's ask me.
So let's get to the first part about taking away your rights, taking away your privileges. Let's say that word. Because, for example, if you remember during the lockdown, non-essentials were what? Some people were not able to get a winter jacket
Yep.
in January.
Yep.
They had to freeze instead of getting a jacket because it wasn't considered essential. So keep that in mind. The government has no idea what's the difference between essential and non-essential. So if they send out rules to a business and they say you can only sell those to these people and these not to those people, what happens? And another big thing that I was talking to Anthony and TJ about, Tony or TJ?
Whatever you want.
TJ, is that what happens tomorrow when this passport gets involved with voting? When Legault says only those who are vaccinated can vote. Because, I don't know, it's just an argument. I know that it's far-fetched for now, But the reason why brainstorming and creativity and imagination are truly important in this world is so that we can be ready for what might happen.
Exactly.
And it's scary. It
What's
really
happening in
is.
Italy right now is that people that are vaccinated are actually burning their passport because they're finally realizing that it doesn't make any sense what's going on.
Yeah, because that was Europe. That was Europe.
Yeah.
They know what it is.
Yeah.
What these people don't understand is that people here have been so comfortable with their lives, so comfortable that they have.
The
no
government
idea.
made it comfortable for them too, right?
Of course.
Here's $500 a week. Just take it.
Look, listen, I understand at that point the government, why they did that. To a certain point, yes, people were out of work, non-essential, blah, blah, blah. There was a lot of confusion 2 years ago or a year and a half ago, whatever it started. Okay? Even us, we were confused. The first 2 weeks of this whole pandemic, when COVID-19 actually started to hit the North American border, even I was like, okay, like this is some pretty scary shit. Like, I don't know.
I think I was the only one that didn't realize that
No.
actually
And
wasn't
Adrian,
scary.
you know, I'm not gonna mention the
No,
name.
but just to say, like,
Here's a great point, since we are Italian. Our freedom is in danger. Protests erupt across Europe over COVID-19 mandates. Now, I want you to keep in mind, Europe is not exactly famous for its anti-vaxxers. It's actually noticed for believing in vaccines,
Yeah.
especially right before COVID even hit.
Yeah.
Right? There was actually in the January of 2019, the beginning of that, vaccination was very, very massive. And now look, people are going against it. Why? To believe that mainstream media is going to give you all the information, that's a lie.
so look, we're talking about vaccination and everything, and we're not saying don't get it. We're just saying like this is your freedom in general is just getting taken away bit by bit in different measures. It's always here, take one thing, but then I'll take 3 things away from you, and that's what's happening since day one. So,
And it's a massive thing to say is that we're not anti-vaxxers. We are anti-freedom, against freedom.
freedom takers.
We're
Freedom takers.
anti-oppression.
Yeah.
We're anti-oppression, and at the end of the day,
And everyone should.
like I said, you know, you have an opinion, you have a choice, and whatever choice you take, that is your choice, and it's okay to believe what you want to believe. It's
My
fine.
body, my choice.
Exactly. And what the, you know, and been seeing a lot of posts. My body, my choice. All you fucking.
And how everything has
You
been
know?
turned around.
And everything, remember, it was like my body, my choice. I want to be a girl, I want to be a guy, I want to do this, I want to be a fucking lamppost. Okay, that's my gender. Fine, no problem. It is my body, my choice. Now it's, no, you need the vaccine because, well, your body, my fucking choice. What the fuck happened? In over what, a couple of months? Like, no, like, you have to listen to like what the government says because like we all have to stay safe together.
Now,
Fuck off, dude.
talking about oppression, let's look at the words of a virologist who was on the news yesterday. He said it's individual rights versus group rights. Now, here's the thing about group rights, in my opinion. How could you really differentiate people? Right? He just said it himself. If I chose to be a girl, I chose to be a girl. So now in 5 seconds, I get grouped up with someone else. That's confusing. So if you're gonna group people up by vaccinated ones and those who are not vaccinated, what happens then? Right? And we just talked about the idea that those who are not vaccinated will be removed a lot of rights, a lot of privileges. And now, I know that non-essentials, you know what?
Everything is essential. Put it
Let's
that
be
way. Everything
fair.
is essential.
Yeah. What is the word essential mean? Because let's be honest, we talked about for like crazy amount of times, let's treat those essential workers better, which still haven't been treated better at all.
At all.
At all. I've been front lines, not any better. I didn't get an extra pay, nothing.
I'm gonna say honestly, I work for the government. I'll say that I don't know what division I work for, but I work for the government. And what did we get for being there, doing overtime and doing all that and doing everything to make the wheel turn? Fucking sweet fuck zero shit nothing. That's how they repaid you.
So if we really want to talk about getting your freedoms right back, it's not actually going to be that free.
No.
You are paying to get this. And now, let's be honest, FDA still has not approved the vaccine fully.
And that's all over the news too. That's the worst part.
And just to bring up another good point, which a lot of a lot of people, not you people, a lot of people don't understand is that freedom, where does it come from? Freedom is never free. Ever. Freedom is never free. Canada, it got its freedom, okay, back, I think it was
1950s?
Yeah, it was after
Or
the
before
second
that.
after the Second World War, when Canada showed the
Independence.
British independence by fighting, right? By sending frontline men to die, and still to this day, still brave soldiers dying on the front lines for whatever battle it is. These guys really understand what Canada means, what it is to be independent, what it is to be a free country. And yet you guys want to take that freedom that these guys, men and women, both fought for. Here.
And you know what? I think it's important to mention who is you guys.
Yeah.
Because, like, let's be honest here for a minute. Who actually thinks a passport idea is actually good?
Yeah.
Is it being oppressed on us based on fear?
It is.
Or is it
Yeah, it's always
actually
about
a good idea?
And if you go, and here's another thing in the comments on Facebook, because I post a lot of stuff and I read a lot of stuff, Montreal blog, and a lot of other Instagram and Facebook groups, and you can actually see the most violent people, like verbally violent people. And I don't want to say, I'm saying this in my own opinion from what I see, and I want to be very non-biased on this, okay? Because if I see non-vaxxers being violent with vaxxers, I would say, you know what, it's pretty 50-50. But honestly, from what I see, non-biased opinion, it's the vaxxers, the people that believe in this, are effing fucking violent, man. They're like, they can comment whatever the fuck they want. Hey, you know what, you should be denied medical healthcare. You should be denied this. You should go die in a fucking hole.
It's because
You
they're
should-
all
it's like-
in their fear, like
Yeah.
their fear and doubt and
Yeah,
everything. But
here's the thing, you can fear, but still be a kind fucking person.
And that's the
Yes.
next topic.
You know?
Oppression is what? Is oppression cruel? Or is it kind?
It's cruel. It's horribly cruel. It's cruel.
So if
It
it's
always
cruel,
has been.
let's ask a real question. Removing something from other people, is that not now cruel?
Exactly.
Now, those with the argument of, oh, but my health. I get it, but pre-COVID, your health was what?
Exactly.
Right? I would have never known that he gave me the flu. It just happened in one handshake.
Yeah.
And now, after COVID, now we're terrified.
Yeah.
Think about
Very
that for a
good point.
minute.
And let's think about another thing, okay? For all the people, family members, the dads, the moms that are worried about their kids getting COVID and all that stuff, and they're like, oh, you have to take your vaccine, you have to take your vaccine, you have to take your vaccine. And you know what? If you don't take your vaccine, you can't come here anymore. Because I'm your mother and you gotta do what I tell you. Okay, kid goes to CLSC, hospital, whatever, gets vaccine, gets dose. First one, she's okay. Second one, ends up dying of a heart attack or blood clot or God knows what, because we all know that's the truth. The mainstream media won't tell you that because we all know why, but it is the truth. Now what? Now as a parent, I'm asking you as a parent, if you literally force your kid and your kid ends up dying, you have to bury your child for something that could have been avoided very easily, but now you gotta bury your kid. So now what do? You grab a gun and fucking blow your fucking brains in because, well, you just killed your own kid? At this point, you know,
There is
or
a
do you just
website-
live with it and say, well, he didn't really need it, but we kind of forced him, and now he's dead. Well, congratulations.
So now, at the end of the day, it comes back to the oppression, living in the negative
Yeah.
realms, fear living in the negative realms, and so fear pushes oppression at the same time.
Of course it does.
Right? So fear pushes, you have to do this because I'm fearful for my own safety, but your own safety, but for your safety affecting my safety.
Exactly.
And then
So-
it becomes cruel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you might think it's kind,
Yeah.
who is it kind to? Yourself?
Yeah.
'Cause let's be fully honest there too. Who actually is kind to themselves?
Yeah.
This poor bastard last week was being mean to himself. And he's the one defending people about this. But he's a good guy!
And a lot of people take what I say as, oh, but him, he's like to the bone, you know, he's to the point. Well, here's the thing, is that back in the 80s and 70s and whatever, people were to the point.
People had a backbone.
Some people had to get a knocking on the head. It is what it is. You're overweight, buddy. You know it's not okay. You need to work out. You're fat. You're out of shape. You're
That's
gonna
actually something, that's
You
something
know?
that I posted yesterday
Like,
on social
it's
media
the same
from
fucking
Dr.
thing.
Mark Hyman, right? I don't know if you saw it, but Dr. Mark Hyman, he had posted something where 1 in 5 people are gonna, it's growing numbers, but 1 in 5 are gonna be, or already have an autoimmune disorder, whether it's Hashimoto's, whether it's lupus, whether it's any kind of autoimmune disease that your body has to fight against it. And it's growing numbers now. So imagine what's going to happen in the future, that obesity is rising, diabetes is rising. Like, it doesn't make sense. 1980s, there was 0 cases for child obesities. Now it's 1 in, if I remember correctly, it was like 1 in 7 or 1 in 8 children that are obese.
Now
Or
imagine
diabetes.
this for a minute.
Doesn't make sense.
Let's talk about oppression in that format. They are recommending it, but they're not forcing it.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Exactly.
And talking about vaccines and when we talk about the statistics behind it, I'd like to invite everybody to what's called Open VAERS. So OPEN, capital VAERS, and check out COVID. But this website is to show you all the statistics of other vaccines as well. Just check out the one on COVID. You're going to see a lot of numbers. You're going to see numbers based on deaths, miscarriages.
But they don't want to do that. That's the thing, is that they believe this game plan, this I don't know what it is. It's like, no man, I can't go on this website. Like, no. Whatever you say, whatever numbers, whatever real facts that you have, I'm not gonna read it. I'm not gonna pay attention to it.
You know what's crazy?
Because you're a Trump supporter. Because you're this. Because you're that. Because you're a fucking Nazi. How many times have we used the word Nazi? You're a Nazi. Holy shit, dude.
You know what's even interesting about the word Nazi and Trump is that people were allowed to call Trump a Nazi,
Yeah.
but if you were to say it now about Biden
Oh my
or
God.
about this guy, that's okay. See what's the word for that? Two-sided sword?
Yeah, the
Double-edged sword. There you go. So, you don't really talk about oppression. It's the idea that if you ever pressure other people, it's
Yeah.
cruel. No matter what you say,
That's it.
it is cruel. So now you have to ask yourselves, are we really, to me, if people were falling off the streets, yeah, sure, okay, let's put a password. Because you know what? People are dying, literally falling to the floor.
Yeah.
Sure.
Legit. And it has happened in countries in Africa and a bunch of countries where
But
millions
you're
of
mentioning countries that do not have the hospitality that we have.
Exactly.
Now, if you want to really look at numbers, because I love numbers, because people say numbers don't lie. Well, here's the reality about numbers not lying. You actually have to get the real numbers, right? Let's look at this. If you look at the population of Montreal, compare that number to the hospital's capacity. Go for it.
Yeah.
If you get to find out that every hospital has the capacity to take on 50% of Montreal, are we freaking out for no reason? Let's be for real.
I didn't know that.
But think about it. Because if the argument that I keep hearing is hospitals are overrun, well, number one, there's less employees. So yeah,
Oh yeah, that's gonna.
there would obviously be overrunness.
That sparked
Just
that
like how on
argument.
a day at a school where there's 5 substitutes and the kids are all here, no one's absent, and all the substitutes don't know what to do. Consider I'm overrun, right? That makes sense. But now, put those numbers out there. I'd love to see the capacity of the super hospital we have.
Yeah.
I'd like to know not only the super hospital, but the Jewish and all the other ones. Now compare those numbers to the population. No, even go further. Go to the amount of percentage that people are going in. Come on. Like, you can't keep arguing these numbers when you start looking at the fact that it's lower than the capacity. What's the real issue here? We know, both of us work in the system. We're underpaid. People are always sick. People are never coming in. Obviously, you're going to be overrun. That's obvious. But then, what's the real solution? passport or put the money in where it needs to be. No.
Yeah. Not advertising for this stuff even more.
Right? So, like, come on.
Because the government will always do what's good for the government. They don't
Well,
care.
you know, that's another funny part too. People say that the government's not against us, blah, 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 blah. Then fine, let's not look at the government, let's look at the politicians. Okay, let's look at the real issue here. Did you know that if you want to run as a politician, you need at least $1 million? Now, I don't have $1 million. You have $1 million? Yeah. Okay. So if you have $1 million, how do these people get the $1 million? I'll tell you how. Funding, also called lobbying. So you're gonna tell me that this guy who's going for provincial, whatever, let's anywhere in the government. Okay, let's talk about real corruption for a minute. And the reality is this: he's getting paid by somebody. Imagine he's paid by Coca-Cola, right? Now he has to push what Coca-Cola tells him, because Coca-Cola gave him the money.
Or else he loses the fund.
And here's a great freaking example. Look at Georgia right now and what happened with the laws around voting. Georgia literally passed a state law saying that you would have to have ID when voting, which makes sense to us. Because here in Quebec, if you don't have proof you're from Quebec, you can't vote. In America, doesn't even care. Just write their name, just send it in. We could go on vacation tomorrow and vote. That's how simple it is. But Georgia wanted to change that. Coca-Cola moved out of there. Other businesses are moving out of Georgia. What's going on? And then you have Biden literally crapping on Georgia.
Yeah.
Seriously. Think about it for a minute.
Yeah.
I know that we're scared. I know that it's easy to be scared. It's hard to be brave. And you know what? I understand it. And it's
It's hard
not
to be brave because it's so different than the norm. So people don't think of it as being brave. They think of it as being different, and nobody likes to be different nowadays, and that's the problem.
Yeah, because everybody labels somebody. That's
Yeah.
it.
And you
But
would
it's also
wonder-
it's also labeling
Yeah.
because of social media.
Of course.
And it's as stupid as it goes. Where look at the cars on the street. Majority of the time, they're either black or white. There's no different colors. Majority of the time, I'm saying, right? Look at the girls' Instagram. They all have duck faces. They all have injections. They all have the same type of style. The guys are the same thing. So it all gears to how everybody has to look the same freaking damn way, and nobody looks different. So the minute you look different, oh, but I'm not going to be part of the norm. But that's where you should be, is be your own unique person out of the norm.
And you know what's crazy? It's biology on some level, because naturally speaking, humans had to belong to a group to survive. Okay? And now, when we talk about evolution, it takes thousands of years. Now, when it comes to being a part of a group, you're going to do all those things. You're going to literally strip away all the things that make you unique so you feel like you belong. But here's the crazy thing. It's a form of control, because those who know that this is biologically inside of us take advantage of it. And that's not right.
Of course.
People who take advantage of others is oppression. It's wrong. Plain and simple. Someone older dating someone way younger, that's oppression. No? Because that poor kid or poor person who's younger, by law, doesn't know what to do. They're just on emotions. And now, young women, especially men too, let's be honest, I don't care about my belly. I really don't. But some people, they freak out. They freak out, and they're willing to take their lives because of it. So we want to talk about oppression. Well, there you go. If the media is fear-mongering, that's oppression. It's plain and simple. And now if they're going to pressure you in getting a vaccine passport, that's oppression.
So like even
You have to
now-
ask yourself, is it kind? It's not. It's cruel. And it's cruel to you too.
And how far is this? Like, we've come this far, but how much further will it go? How
No,
much?
it can't go any further than this, Teach. Come on.
Yeah.
And that's what everyone says.
Right? Oh, 2 weeks to flatten the curve. What the fuck happened to that sick joke? 2 semaines, le Québec, 2 semaines pour vraiment athlétique curve, puis on va être correct.
A year later.
2 years later, like the SpongeBob. 2 weeks later. Guys, pretty much, you're getting fucking passports, and if you don't fucking show your passports, you can't get food. 2 weeks to flatten the curve, guys. Meanwhile, he's fucking.
I don't know if I think you watched it. The podcast with Joe Rogan, the North Korean fled. Watch it?
Yeah, I watched a bit of it.
I heard like half of it, but it's happening here, but it's crazy what's going on in other countries.
Oh my god.
I'm getting shivers just thinking of it, but
Our media doesn't even cover it.
no, exactly. That's how like
Our media doesn't cover it.
we're so blinded by everything, and so basically, if those that haven't heard from it, but it's a North Korean girl who fled here when she was 14 or 15 alone actually. She basically told the story of how her life was like the Hunger Games, literally speaking, where she'd walk the streets and there's corpse on the floor, and it was normal to her, and she felt no emotion because they didn't know what emotions were. When you have a kid,
numbed out.
yeah, they're completely numbed out, and they were conditioned that way to the point where they didn't even tell their parents "I love you" or get back love from their parents. Now, what freaked me the fuck out was that it's happening here indirectly, but over there, it's you have a system, level 1 to whatever, and if you're in the lower class, you can't marry someone in the higher class, and if someone in the higher class wants to marry a lower class, well, they're not a higher class anymore; they're a lower class. What happens is someone in any class, really, say for whatever reason they get, I don't know, they ran a stop line and their credit score of humanity drops. Well, that's going to last with them from 3 to 8 generations, depending on the severity. So my great-great-great-great-grandfather that just got imprisoned because he may have ran a red light, which over there they don't care, they'll throw you in jail from what I understood. Well, it's going to affect your life too. So you're going to be put into the slums like the rest of them, and all you're going to do is work for the higher power, and that's it. You don't know what the rest of the world looks like. So when this girl fled, she was talking that she was able to flee where at some border where someone was able to pick her up and leave quietly. Now, the way she was explaining is that if you want to try even remotely to leave at any moment, there are landmines everywhere at the borders. So it's like, how much control could they possibly have? Well,
I'm sorry, was this Korea or China?
North Korea.
Okay, so North Korea, China, same fucking goddamn.
They're all in the same area.
Yeah.
But at the same time, needless to say, is the more we just give to them, the more we give them power, the more who knows what could happen, we could potentially live like that. It's just where I'm getting at is if we don't put our foot down sooner or later, that 1% of the world will rule the whole world, and we will all, which we already are, we will all just be slaves to them.
Guys, just to bring up a point, I don't know if I brought this up in the last podcast, but for the people that still think that Canada is not run by China, I'm gonna say it. You guys are fucking completely wrong. Just shut your mouths, because honestly, you guys are pretty
Nice.
Nice. That's my opinion. You guys are dumb. Because just to
His opinion only. Okay, don't put us in the same group.
This is my opinion. Here's the thing, like they literally, there was trucks in, I think it was Illinois, the state of Illinois, where there's about 50,000 to 60,000 pickup trucks, all waiting to be shipped to North America and the surrounding Canada, all the other states. And the reason why they were all still docked there was because they're waiting for, I think it was some parts from China, some chips, some PC parts.
Oh, you're talking about the cars.
Yeah, all the cars, all these trucks, yeah, all there. So in the end, instead of designing everything or building everything in the United States,
Which we have the resources.
which we have the resources to do, no, because manpower is too expensive, so we'd rather fucking ship it across the ocean for some poor kid that's 5 years old to go build it, that he dies, who cares, but yet you guys all want to be like, oh, peace, love, and fucking Moombas. But yet there's fucking kids dying left, right, and center in other countries, and here you are saying, oh, I need the newest iPhone, you gotta
Well, that's what she was saying.
By fucking China.
That's what she was saying was because she didn't know what love was and everything, and her survival was, or her main priority was survival. When she came here and people were saying, "Oh my God, I lost my boyfriend," like it was a third world country kind of problem. She was like, "But that's not a problem. What are you complaining about?
No, because
Come live my life."
Yeah, because they never got a barrel of an AK-47 put at their family. That's why. And that's what's slowly coming here. Because I hope you guys do know and understand that if China decides that, you know what, fuck you, Canada, we're gonna invade your stupid asses. And now you'd say, well, that will never happen. But let's just throw it out there, guys. You guys love and love to make fun of the United States. Love all the fucking Americans. They're stupid. This. They're always putting their nose where they're not supposed to be. If it wasn't for the United States, I'm gonna make this clear, you guys, we'd be fucked. Because yes, we have brave soldiers, we have a great military, not even a fucking quarter of it compared to China or compared to any other military in the world. I think we have like one of the smallest militaries in the world. The smallest population for such a massive land mass. We cannot protect all of it. And honestly, we're lucky that we have the United States as our bigger brothers, because if they go down, we're fucked. I hope you guys know the little technological phones and this and that. Ciao. Because once those guys start dropping off of fucking airplanes and parachutes, you're fucked. There's nothing to do. You're nothing. You guys can't even go for a 2-kilometer walk and not complain without the proper $400 Nikes. Anyway.
So to digress what he said and dilute it a little.
Man, you're really emotional today.
Yeah, it's because you know what? Because I'm starting to get fed up with these people that just talk and
You're
they
never
don't
letting your
understand.
emotions take control. You're a little angry.
Told you to calm down.
And just like emotions,
We'll take a walk.
why I'm going to be the social emotional learning specialist here is to learn how to control these things so that at the end of the day, you can see clearly. And that's the goal, right? We can see it clearly. We can see a big picture.
I can see clearly now.
We should totally do karaoke. So let's, for example, point out some facts, okay? During World War II, the Japanese literally bombed a state in America. You remember about that?
Yes. December 7, 1941.
Jesus Christ, even the date.
No,
Pearl
what's the
Harbor.
date?
Pearl
Pearl
Harbor.
Harbor of Honolulu, Hawaii.
There you
So
go.
they pretty much secretly attacked the American fleet to cripple them. So Japan will have superiority over the Pacific.
Okay, so keep that in mind. It did happen.
Interesting.
Now, 9/11 also happened.
Yeah.
You can't say it didn't happen. I'm not gonna get into how, but it did. So just because it's 20 years later does not mean that tomorrow anything cannot happen. Anything can happen. Now imagine, especially in Quebec with the gun laws being that you're not allowed a gun at all.
You're gonna blow up some more gunpowder.
Now, let's say somebody were to come. What would you do? Can't do nothing.
Look
Can't do
at
nothing.
Australia. What happened to Australia and New Zealand?
Oh man.
And we're gonna take it. Remember when everybody was so happy? Did you see what the Australian president, prime minister, I'm not sure what they call it, what they really did it? They did the deed. They took away guns.
Now the military is running the streets.
Wow, they took away guns. Now they have a passport. The military controls everything. They fucking fly over with helicopters. Everybody's afraid to do anything. And you think crime is gonna go down because they took away a bunch of semi-automatic weapons?
Hold on a second. We don't even have to go far to New Zealand.
Yeah. Let's
What's
go
happening in Arctic and
Yeah.
St. Leonard right now?
Yeah. Let's get into that topic. People
There's
are going
guns
crazy now.
left, right, and center.
Yeah, oh, this is my topic, baby. How exactly?
So before we get into that, it's just the idea of this, okay? Tomorrow, if there's a bear, what will you do?
Play that.
If
Play that.
tomorrow you live in your house and there's an animal outside, what do you do? If the answer is you can't do nothing and hope to God someone comes and helps you, great. But someone's gonna come help you because you live in a country that believes in protecting each other on a level where you still get to live your life the way you do, and I'm going to come help you. That's something to keep in mind. Now, if you are living in a country that's starting to tell you you have to be a certain way no matter what, right? Just think of it this way, okay? Once upon a time, there was the belief that if you do wrong, you go to hell. Plain and simple, right? Now, after that, what happened? Well, if you did bad, you're going to hell, be guilty. Let's be fully honest, it doesn't happen anymore. People still feel guilty, but not on a level that they're going to go to hell. They feel guilty because they didn't wear the right makeup. They feel guilty because they don't have enough followers. It's insane. And now we are going to be afraid of a virus. And we're going to be so terrified of it to the point that we think we're going to go to hell.
Pretty much.
Why?
I got called by loved ones, I'm not gonna say who. I got called by my own loved ones that you're the reason why this is all happening, and you're the reason why this shit is, why people are still sick. You're the reason.
That's horrible.
You're the reason. It's like they literally looked at
You
me
want to
like,
come to my house on Sunday night? Have some supper together?
no, I live alone, so I don't have to see
I
them.
don't want you to be alone.
No, I'm fine. I'll do it. I can talk to myself. You know, we really, me and myself, we
And this is why we need help. Kidding. But fully honestly, does it make sense that family members are turning on each other to the point that you're segregating them?
Well, let's just put it this way. Most of my family's dead today. Let's put it that way. Because of all this shit.
Wow. That's sad.
Pretty much.
But since the beginning, they were flagging you down, harping on you.
My own family.
Own family.
Social media.
Your own
Wow.
family. Because you know what? At the end of the day, when you've created nothing, you have been nothing all your life, and you see people actually doing something, this is the perfect opportunity, just like the government did, the perfect opportunity to tear you down. And it's exactly what it is. I've been a nothing. I'm a piece of shit. I've been a bitter asshole for 20 years. My fucking young nephew or cousin is actually doing something that he has to do. Perfect. He's not following his guidelines. I'm gonna start harping on him because I'm a pissed off piece of shit, and this is what happened. Yep. And now you want to call me bad for saying that? No, it's the fucking truth. And if you can't say
True,
it,
because
just
it's
shut the
happening
fuck
to
up.
both of us.
You know, it is what it is.
So it is getting emotional now. Just to finish off on the topic of oppression, let's look at it at the small level, which is bullying.
Yeah.
Bullying is oppression. One kid goes into a schoolyard and tells everybody, do what I say or I will physically harm you. And then when the kids say, oh, I'm going to tell an adult, you're a snitch.
Yeah.
You're a snitch, you're a snitch, you're a snitch. But wait a minute. Now everybody is terrified of the bully.
Yeah.
Now, whoever likes to stand up to the bully, they get called a snitch. But not only from the bully, from everyone else who's been oppressed.
Yeah.
That's a simple level of what's going on today. You can argue it's not, but the fact that, just ask yourself, have you been angry at someone you love just because they feel scared about a vaccine? Think about it. Would you get mad at somebody for being terrified of the dark? Right? Some of us have, some of listeners might have younger cousins, younger sisters, maybe even younger kids. If they're scared of the dark, are you really going to be mad at them and oppress them for it?
Don't they console them instead?
Shouldn't you be consoling it?
Well,
Aren't
don't-
we in a country that's advanced?
The boogeyman's under my bed. Don't you
Yeah, but
console them
guys,
and say there's no boogeyman?
Yeah, but guys, we're talking about a pandemic where everybody's a virologist. So you can't. I got the nice comment today when I said that on my Facebook. I said that rights are being taken away. This is against all constitutional Canadian rights. It's all being taken away. And I got the message. Where did you go to law school? I hope you see this, by the way. Where did you go to law school? I'm like, I didn't go to law school. I'm like, where did you go to school? McGill. So like, not only are you a deaf cunt, but like, not only that, but like now you have to come up and say like, oh, I went to this fucking school. Like, look at me, I'm better than you.
And see, that's oppression too,
Right?
Let's be fully honest here.
Yeah. And I work for fucking NASA. Congratulations. I fucking fly spaceships with fucking Jeff Bezos. You stupid fucking asshole. I hope you fall down the stairs and break your fucking front teeth.
That's pretty rude.
Sandra said, "Amen, do you?" And education is the key.
Who said?
That's Sandra.
Now,
there you go.
I'd like to take that word for a minute. Education. What is actual education? Education is this. This is sugar. I wonder what it will do to me. I will take it and I will experiment. Now I realize, whoa, I'm feeling a big downer. I just got educated on how sugar is going to affect my body. Experience is education. When you are being told what to think, to me that's being told what to think. That's not education. I'm telling you what education is. Now,
I'm telling you what my education is, so you don't learn anything else.
there you go. And it's oppressive in the way that I'm telling you to think only my way. That's horrible. I want people to think for themselves. SEL is going to be all about you asking yourself those questions of what works for me, because I don't live other people's lives. I don't live your life.
Sure.
But I believe in helping people gain the power to get in control of their lives without the fear that, yeah, even family's gonna turn on you. You know, like, I'm really sorry it's been that bad for both of you.
No.
I'm totally been having issues of my own, but I stand my ground, and luckily I stand my ground to the point that I tell other people, just think for 2 seconds.
Yep.
You know, just think about it. You're terrified to the point that you're yelling at me. You're yelling at me because you're scared of a cough.
But it's not a cough. It's a.
You're scared that coronavirus, which is supposed to be so deadly and so contagious that technically speaking, mathematically, everyone had it. Everyone's had it. That's the
If
reality.
you look at the numbers, in Florida, 200,000 people are getting it a day. And people are like, 200,000.
What's the death rate?
200,000. It's impossible. It's impossible. If 200,000 people got it in a day, you not fucking like contemplate this
Do the numbers for a minute, okay?
You know?
If you take the number of a population,
Jesus.
and then you say that every day it goes up by a certain number, but then you look at the other numbers of how much it's been up, then technically speaking, what's really going on? You know, just do some math. That's all I'm asking you to do. Do some math.
And then-
Because you know what, the scientists and the virologists have done the math,
Yeah.
and they've said it very, very clearly. 0 to 7, you have a mortality rate of 99.997. That means 0.003% chance of dying. Then you go higher and higher, and at 70 and more, it's 94.7. Now, no hard feelings, but we're in the 90s. That's pretty good. Last time I was in school, you know, to have a 90.
You're in the 90th percentile.
But Chris, it's not about COVID anymore. Because the OG COVID, it's like the iPhone 11, man, or wherever the fuck we're at. Now we got the Delta variant. Whoa! It mutated because apparently that's what viruses do, right? Which they actually do mutate. They want to survive. They understand that.
From the whole.
Now we have the Delta virus that probably came from some pig in Afghanistan or whatever the fuck, whatever story they're trying to spin this time, or it came from Jeff Bezos off the fucking spaceship, and now Delta. You know, they always have to come with this new narrative. Guys, we're kind of getting fed up with the whole COVID thing. So you know what? New variant.
Call it Delta.
And then these people say, yeah, the numbers are fake. They're fake. Like, don't you get it? They spin whatever. They'll literally tell you.
Not for anything, but
died.
a month and a half ago, Legault literally told you,
Yeah.
we're gonna be doing this.
Yeah.
But maybe we're gonna do this.
Yeah.
But they literally told you inside, get ready for
every
it.
time that guy says maybe, it's
Say yes.
gonna happen.
Yeah.
That's him literally. I don't know what I want to say, but that's him literally warning you. Guys,
Get ready, it's
this
happening.
is what's gonna happen. And if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. Do you know how many businesses Montreal and Quebec lost? And not only because of COVID, and now we're still losing. Big businesses that said, F you, we're going to Alberta, we're going somewhere else in Canada, we're going to go build somewhere else because
By the way,
this
Cabalas
place
went to Alberta
sucks."
also.
Honestly, at this point, I'm going to sell everything. Ciao,
So,
bye.
at the end of the day, that's what oppression is. It's
This
one
is exactly
big
what
guy.
it is, where you're so oppressed that you want to leave your home, that you've been here
They're
for the past
forcing you
30
out.
years. 30 years. And it's like, if you don't abide by our fucking stupid. Oh, hey, what happened to Pistachio Arruda? Whatever the fuck his name was.
Pistachio Arruda?
The fucking, what's his name? Potato, Mr. Potato.
Yeah, no, Ruda.
What the fuck happened to him? I haven't seen one. Is he still there? I haven't watched
I don't
the
watch
press
the news. I don't watch the news.
Remember when he was like, si tu touches les mains, tu touches les masques, tu touches les mains, mais tu touches le masque, il marche pas. What was it? Fucking a week and a half later, mets ton crise de masque. Parce qu'ils m'ont donné beaucoup d'argent pour leur dire, mets ton masque, ok? Si tu mets pas le masque, on tape ta gueule. That's pretty much-
Yeah, the best is when he
What
says,
the fuck?
there is no such thing as the flu in
Yeah,
Quebec,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
only COVID.
Yeah, if you cross the fucking border, as soon as you start seeing those fucking orange cones, COVID, everything else doesn't exist. Only COVID, cones and COVID. Welcome to fucking Quebec, my friend.
Dress orange.
Yeah, taxes, cones, and COVID.
If you dress orange, you might not get a
It's
ticket.
maybe for my hide. You know, you hide inside the cone like this.
Just dress orange, man. You won't get a
I'm
ticket
so
anymore.
fucking passionate about this subject because it makes no more sense.
And just keep in mind, is Quebec supposed to be an oppressive place?
No.
You know, other than the
So
fact that we
much-
have to talk French,
So much multicultural.
we are so many cultures. You know, Canada at the end of the day is a refugee country. That's
Yeah.
what it is.
Pretty much.
We all escaped another place to
Yeah.
get here. And I'm looking at you loyalists as well. You know, in history, the loyalists were those who came from the Queen. Those who are French, you came from a queen and king too. The only difference is that the king and queen got killed back in Paris and we were left on our own. It's the truth. Then America had their civil war and the loyalists came up because we were still owned by the English. And then the loyalists decided to say, Quebec, you get to have your own place, go for it. We're all literally people who've run away from a country or the present. And now it's happening here. Our own grandparents would say, what's going on? What's going on? Why are we doing this?
My grandmother already said she's seen this happen already and it's happening again.
It's happening again.
There you go.
Benito Mussolini,
Let's be honest.
fascism, and
Exactly.
papers and this and that.
There you go.
And guys, it's not that far away. It's
No, it's not.
75, 76 years.
You know, it
sounds
seems-
like
it
a long
seems-
time.
yeah, exactly.
But it's not that much of a long time, guys. It's one lifetime.
And here's another thing too. You want to talk
39
about
years.
Hitler? Hitler was one country, small number of people. You want to talk about China? That's 2.7 billion population, and that's maybe actually the real number because they want to say 1.7. Which is
I think their military
Whatever.
is bigger than all of Canada.
Now, if you really look at China and you see how they work, it's insane. I dare everybody. Go on YouTube and see what's called social credit. And you're going to find out that in China,
Yeah, that's what I'm talking
it's
about.
not
with
about
North Korea that I left.
exactly, it's not about money, it's about social credit. If you don't meet a certain social criteria, you ain't going to the clubs, you ain't going anywhere.
Yeah.
Look what's happening now. We're being segregated between vaccines, not vaccines.
And Sergeant Roberto brought up a good point. Like, and our morgues and hospitals overflow.
No. We're not. Aside, we know, you know, we know that's fucking true. And let's be honest, let's bring it back to the hospitals. These guys, the Quebec government, whether it was the Liberal Party, the CAQ, the Chippewa, the Tabarnak, the Green Party, whatever party you want to fuck is, at the end of the day, they're all politicians and they all suck. Okay? They're all a bunch of overpaid, pencil-pushing liars, and they're good at making deals.
Not
with big-
overpaid, because that means that we're paying them. We're
Yeah.
lobbied paid.
Lobby paid, yeah, exactly.
Lobbied paid. Keep this in mind.
Anyway,
Just to save 5 seconds, I'm so sorry to interrupt. But Legault this year
Yeah.
made $10 million.
yeah,
$10 million. Guess how much he makes money to be the prime minister? 400,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said that. $9.6 million came out of where?
Is what Air Transat, I think that he owns.
Yeah, he's a co-founder. But come on,
Co-founder of Air Transat, which is one of the companies that didn't shut down because
They still allow people to come in.
Yeah, COVID's coming. COVID's coming, but here Prime Minister Trudeau and this other fucking clown. We can't close the airline. No, we can't close the fucking airline. We're not gonna make any money. But let them come in, and then we'll just be like, oh, for the love of Canada and Quebec, we gotta close. Stop with your fucking bullshit. Anyway, like I was trying to say,
Sorry.
is that I have a lot of friends that are nurses, and I have a lot of friends that are in the system.
Same here.
You know, and you can hear all of them say, these kids, a lot of these nurses, 21, 22 to 20, 30 years old, these kids are underpaid, overworked. The hospitals, the whole system here in Quebec, and I don't know if you guys know, everything's all about nurses. I mean, you have a good job. Yeah, you have a great job. You're on the front lines constantly. You're dealing with mental patients. You're dealing with sick patients. You're dealing in hospitals. You're not getting paid the money you should be getting paid. And this has been a problem, and it's not now. It's not 10 years ago. We're ranging back 30 years of this bullshit. That nurses, doctors, any people in the medical field, even janitors at hospitals are not getting paid the money that they deserve. Period. Now, you want to say, well, TJ, how do you know that? Because I have friends, because I hear it, because I work for the fucking government. I know.
And you know how many people don't want to take the vaccine
Yeah.
and they're part of the medical
Exactly.
system?
Yeah.
Does that not say something?
Exactly.
I think it says something
I
a
have
lot.
my friend, she's a kid, she's fucking working 5 days a week, sucking fucking 15, 16-hour shift because and it's not that the fucking hospitals are overrun. The fact is that they're closing down rooms.
Yeah.
Why are they closing down rooms? Because there's no more nurses that want to do this shit anymore. Because they have nowhere. They're understaffed. Why? Because the Quebec government likes to take, fill their pockets with fucking stupid allegations, legal fucking blah blah blah, and all the things that they always fucking come up with. Everything, twist the story not to pay their employees.
And then they say we're overrun by COVID.
Overrun by COVID.
Come
Yeah,
on.
because you have 3 nurses for 65 fucking patients. Half of those 65 is probably a cold. The other half is probably injuries, this, that. 3 of them is actually COVID. Now you want to tell me about respirators and this and that, and people on respirators, and people that died. Don't get me wrong, I'm not taking anything away from the people that died. It is a fucking pity. 100%. But come on, guys. People die every year. Like I told my parents, I live by the sword, I die by it. If I die by COVID, well, then that was my fate. It is what it is, but you cannot restrict a population, and we cannot revert back to this bullshit because of something that we all know is weaponized anyway. You know, anyway, you can go on and on for this. It just goes always full circle. We know the truth, but what do? We just believe the fucking goddamn the narrative. Okay.
Take a look at that.
Yep. We're gonna end it with the rant. So thank you for watching. It was really great. And
That's
that's
why
next
if you get
time.
canceled or whatever, please don't fucking try to find me because I'm probably gonna end up in some Guantanamo Bay fucking COVID center with Justin Trudeau looking down on you. You have to be more responsible.
You might find more truths there.
What a fucking shit brain.
You might find more truths there,
Oh
man.
God, the worst prime minister.
See us again next week.
Ciao. Go
Ciao.
get it.